Hello everyone. How is everybody? Bonjour. Hey Julie. Nice to see you, Julie. Thanks for coming in here. You're always one of the first ones. Love you very much, and thank you for helping Silvana and the entire NOLA fan club put together a wonderful surprise and beautiful photo album and videos the other day. I really enjoyed it. I have the best fans in the world, best supporters. I love you guys. Veliki pozdrav svima, dobar dan svima. Hvala što ste se pridružili danas na ovom druženju. Pričat ću na engleskom. Danas ćemo, kao što sam najavio u svojoj objavi, da ćemo danas krenuti sa Šervinom da pričamo uopšteno o zdravlju, mentalnom zdravlju, emotivnom zdravlju, fizičkom, duhovnom, na koji način, sa kojim veštinama, sa kojim tehnikama i specifičnim vežbama čovjek može da sebe dovede do nekog stanja u kojem je on najbolja verzija sebe svakim danom. Naravno, niko od nas ne tvrdi da smo mi to stalno, ali podelit ćemo sa vama neka iskustva. Ja ću opet naravno biti u ulozi nekoga koji intervjuiše Šervina, koji ima naravno pregršt znanja na tu temu i u praktičnom smislu on živi to što govori. Tako da siguran sam da možemo mnogo toga da naučimo. Svake nedelje ćemo izabrati novu temu. Ja ću sad na engleskom pričati sa svima, naravno i sa njim, i onda ću da pravim beleške i na kraju našeg razgovora, intervjua ću da prevedem za ljude koji ne razumeju o čemu smo razgovarali. So, sorry for everyone that didn't understand what I was talking about. I was just explaining that to anybody that is following from Serbia, that I will be starting the new self-mastery project, as you have seen in the announcement earlier yesterday that we posted together with Shervin, my brother from United States and Persia. We have had a very successful and very nice live last week, and we talked about what we could do together. So the feedback from all of you guys was very positive. So I've said that for many years that health and well-being and wellness is truly a field of life that interests me a lot, and of course is closely related to what I do and what my profession is. The professional tennis that I'm playing for all my life. So of course I'm studying, I'm learning a lot, I'm reading about it, I'm trying to perfect my own, I guess not perfect, but improve my knowledge of self and understand how I can be the best version of myself every single day. And Shervin is one of the people that has inspired me a lot in my life, and is truly a dear friend. So we are going to start today with the first episode, so to say, of this series of self-mastery project. And we are going to talk about intention and discipline. Obviously, everything starts from there. Everything starts with thought, with intention. If we set our priorities right, if we set our intention, if we know what we want to do in life, what we want to achieve, who we want to become in this process, then obviously everything else flows, and we have then the discipline and the motivation to accomplish whatever is in front of us, whatever the dreams are. So we're going to go deep into that, and I'm really glad that there's a lot of you present here today. So we're going to speak for an hour and just a little bit less than an hour, and then I'm going to have a couple minutes of summary of the conversation explained in Serbian as well to all our Serbian viewers. So I see a lot of you there. Thank you very much. Someone from Argentina. I see the Argentinian flag. Hola Argentina, ¿qué tal? ¿Todo bien? Love you guys. Thank you very much for coming. I see people from all around the world. Thank you very much. I'm sending you Hugs and prayers and love to everyone. Be strong. I know everyone will get through this one, you know, healthier, wiser, hopefully stronger. And, you know, we are here obviously to try to share whatever that we have experienced, learned in our lives, that hopefully there is something that you can see useful for your own life. So I'm going to invite Shervin now. I hope he's there, he's watching. So I'm going to wait for his message and I'm going to call him on live. I'm very excited about this project, guys. I hope you're too. It's been years that I've been planning to do something like this. So I hope that you are approving this kind of hangouts that we're going to have weekly with Shervin, and also a few other people that we're going to announce in few days. Jesi li se ti malo udebljo? Da znaš da jesam. Malo sam dobio na mišićnoj masi, barem ja verujem da je to tako, sad ne znam. Nemam pojma, neću da se skidam ovdje. So, where are you, brother? Where are you, Shervin? I'm waiting for him to come on so that we can start this live. Ariane, salut, ça va bien? Salut tout le monde. Un grand salut à tout le France. Et tout mon corps est avec vous. J'espère qu'on peut jouer à Roland Garros cette année et de vous voir. Okay, Shervin is here. All right. I'm just inviting him in. Okay, someone is saying that I'm too loud. Hey, what's up, bro?
Hello, my brother. How are you?
Aloha, brother. Good to see you.
Aloha. Good to see you too, man.
Someone is putting on comments that that my tone, my sound is very loud. Are you hearing me very loud, or is it fine? Fine. Okay. Great.
Like music to my ears.
Great. Hey, cool glasses, man.
I got my blue blockers on.
Blue blockers. Got it. I got it as well. I got some here.
Right on.
But I want everyone to see my eyes when I'm speaking to them. Oh man, nice to have you today. I was just before you got on, I was doing a little bit of introduction. Obviously, for everybody joining now, I did live with Shervin last week, and you know, he's my dear brother, a friend. We know each other now. It's been years. He's someone that inspires me truly in my life, and we talk about so many different things in life. And I think one thing that we share in common is passion for health and well-being and wellness and awareness and being as conscious human being as possible in this lifetime, and trying to be the best version of ourselves every single day. So last week we decided to do a live, so here we are. Self-Mastery Project, episode 1, intention and discipline.
Amazing. Wow.
So
it's beginning, huh?
Yes, it's a beginning, I hope, of a very, very long journey that hopefully we will enjoy and we'll be able to thrive on that journey alongside all the people that are here with us, they're watching us, and hopefully in the weeks to come. So, brother, I would want to start with a question. Why is setting an intention important in life?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for your beautiful expression. And I just want to say hello to everybody out there. I'm sending you all my love from the deepest part of my heart in full intention to all of you. And I hope everybody can receive that in full bliss. And I think it's only practical and only makes sense that if we're starting a self-mastery project, at the beginning point, the first topic should be intention and discipline, and how those two commingle together to create free will and power and action and love and support. And this is one of the most exciting topics. So to make it even more natural and more organic, the beginning of this should be you and I setting our intention. And I think you set a lot of your intention in the beginning. And so our intention collides on the same energy wavelength. And that intention is that we want everybody to succeed in everything they want to do in life. So if you're the best teacher of all time, I want you to be the best teacher of all time. If you're the best farmer of all time, I want you to be the best farmer of all time. If you're the best salesperson of all time, I want you to be the best salesperson. If you're the best mother of all time, have you be the best mother. That's your intention. And so our intention here is to just relay and exchange some of the magic and some of the codes that you and I have picked up in this life, either through trial and error, through meditation, through masters before us, through mentors in our life, through experience, and also just through higher levels of knowledge and awareness. And so I'm very, very excited. All the things that we're going to get into in the Self-Mastery Project in terms of detoxification, cellular regeneration, electromagnetism, our relationship to our environment, the circadian rhythm, success, abundance, scarcity mentality, how to remove all those illusions, all of it at the center of it is intention. Intention is the momentum. It's the awareness that puts you forward every day. And at that point, once the intention's set, then discipline can come in there and solidify the thought and the heart and the love and the empathy and all that. So that's where I see this center point of the Self-Mastery Project, is that we give the tools and we share the tools in our lives that have basically put us in a position that we are in now. And that is to be in a place of homeostasis and a place of balance, and to be able to make decisions in our life that are based on our wants, our needs, versus anything outside of us. So the intention initially to start off is, what is everybody's intention? If everybody has a pen and paper right now, it's not a bad idea that you start taking some notes. Of course, you're going to pin this video. There you go. Yeah, I got mine. Of course, you're going to pin this video. It's going to be up, and we're going to chop it up and put it out on different medias. But right now is a good time to transcribe thoughts and emotions, not to just write what we're talking about. Absolutely. But when you hear what we're talking about, what comes up for you? What nuances and ideas and memories come up for you in the conversation we're having? What we just said. Do you remember something that you wanted to do yesterday that you never got to doing tomorrow? You know, things like that. Let's start getting the mind and the heart in a resonance where we start really thinking about, my God, what are we doing in this life? What have we been doing up until now? And it could be the best life ever. And you just want to keep going in that momentum. Or you feel there might be some inadequacies for whatever reasons. Maybe you're in some type of fear. Maybe you're not surrounded and supported by the right people. Maybe you're not taking care of yourself emotionally. Maybe you're lending your heart out to too many people and giving your energy away and not receiving it. There could be so many things. So I want this Self-Mastery Project to be completely organic. I want it to be your fundamental truth, not ours. Novak and I are just discussing our perspective and our conversation. Ultimately, yes. This is for you.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for amazing introduction and words, and I think summary of what is going to come for all of us and what we are going to get into. I'm super excited about this, and I think you said something extremely important now in the end, that this is our perspective, this is our life experiences that we're sharing with you guys, and that hopefully we will all have open minds and open heart to be able to receive something that resonates with us, something that we'll be able to use in our everyday life, in our relationships, in our exercise, in our emotional state, whatever it is, you know, something that I'm sure will be something that will be beneficial for our well-being and state of homeostasis. So why is setting intention important, brother? Why is it so important that we are aware of what we want to do in life, where we want to go, what we want to do, what we want to achieve?
Well, intention is the most powerful force in the universe. That's a Taoist, Buddhist, primordial force. it's the momentum carrier. If if your intention is not dissolved into the ether of who you are, you're basically running around from one thing to another, especially in the modern mechanistic world where we can be distracted by everything. We are in the information freeway now. It's not like you and I are out in the forest 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just there, growing food and
Yeah.
fire. We're hitting with so much information. Even if we were out there in the forest living like that, we should be living in intention. We should be in purpose. But just think about the cosmic giggle. We're now in a place where we're dealing with 10,000 different people's lives at once, and we're emotional, all these different things, schedules and all that stuff. If you don't have intention, you're like running around with no head, just completely confused and bobbled, and you get disorganized. And so everybody has kind of a goal of what they want to be in life, what they want to experience, what they want to bring to this world, what beauty they want to offer this world. And I feel strongly that we're in a sugar-coated. Did you lose me? Okay.
Yes. Sorry, lost you.
Okay, no problem. I'm a realist, and I look at the situations we're in the world. And every journey in our life begins with intention. And it doesn't matter what that intention is. If it's a good intention or a bad intention or whatever it is, intention's the center point. And it's what activates our body to put us in position to get that intention done. But
Yes.
if we don't have it, if we're just operating day to day and we're living in that life, that's going to be a life with less rewards. And it's going to be a life where you're going to be in pain. You're going to be in frustration because internally, what you want to do here. We all carnated here for a soul's purpose, a soul's journey. It is what it is. And that's the beauty of our life. Getting outside of that intention takes us away from where our soul wants to take us. And there's nothing more devastating to me than feeling the energy of a collective that are completely out of their dharma, which is their mission here, their chosen mission. It really frustrates me and it saddens me. And then when you see children that aren't properly given an incubation period where they were given the tools and the energies for them to self-create, where instead of being programmed at an early age, they were given the tools to be their own sovereign beings. So intention is everything. It's a gift. And it's a gift that you end up giving. It's a cyclical motion. If you're living in intention, you're going to offer that intention to the next person. Like, for example, your intention for some of the things that you've done has rubbed off on me. I see the dedication, I see the commitment to excellence, and it makes me better for it. It makes me strive for it. I would write down some of the stuff that you'd go through in terms of preparation, in terms of family, in terms of culture, in terms of the country, in terms of your worldwide influence. And that's stuff that I look at and I'm like, okay, well, if Novak can handle this and walk through it like the way he does, why can't I be the best version of myself? So I set that intention. And then I'm doing that for other people as well. It's all a web, and we create our own bioresonance field by living in our intention. None of this is by accident. The quality of the universe is immeasurable. It's indescribable.
So brother, how does the life without setting a clear intention look like? Let's go through that, because there, something that is very interesting, and obviously this doesn't only relate to the professional athletes or people that are in sports or music or whatever it is. This relates and this references every person's life on this planet. So if the way I see it, if you don't have intention, meaning if you don't have clarity of thought, clarity of mind of what you want to do, who you want to become on a daily basis, so short-term goals, long-term goals, it is very difficult for you to be in control of your life. Then you are running on an autopilot, which at times it's good. And we're going to get into that a bit later, because I would definitely love to speak about surrendering to life and letting life and universe and law of attraction create magic for you in your life. And the importance of prayer and importance of faith. But now I want to talk about the clear intention of, I want to do this and this in my life. I want to become this and this, or I want to be able to have the best possible relationship with my spouse, with my children, with my parents. How do we differentiate the life when you have that clarity and intention, and what happens if you actually don't have?
Yeah, well said. And I totally resonate with the fact that there has to be some beauty in the surrender, where we're not forcing and we're flowing. But that can only happen when you have the key elements in place. If the main parts of your life are in turmoil, meaning your relationship with your children, your relationship with your spouse, the occupation that you're in, the way you treat your body, these are key fundamentals that have to be rooted in the right space. Then once you're there, then it's not about forcing, it's about flowing. And so every rise you get up, you have two choices. You can continue to sleep with your dreams, or you can wake up and go after them. And the satisfaction that you get from going after your dreams and feeling them and accomplishing them, and sitting home at night before you go to sleep and looking and reflecting on what you just accomplished in the last 12 hours, the goodness you brought to your family, the goodness you brought to your soul, and write them down. The ancients wrote everything down. Why? There's a material world alchemy that you transcribe onto paper, that you transcribe. There's an energy of self-reflection. And so that creates the disciplinary practice. The intention and discipline are basically, they're teetering on each other. You can't really have one without the other. And ultimately, they give you free will. And when you have free will, as you know, and most of the people that are listening hopefully are understanding what free will is, this concept that your life is limitless. When you start operating in the DNA field of resonance, which is basically your biological alchemy, we know science is proving it now. It's the biology of belief. You are what you believe.
Bruce Lipton has a great book about that, right? The biology of belief, the biology of faith, basically.
Absolutely. Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's a friend of ours. Went through his entire program. He has a psychological problem called psyche. And it's very interesting. And he highlights, as a clinician, he's a medical doctor, that wait a second, your intention, your belief will actually change your physical body. And that's what we call epigenetics. Yes. Epigenetics means above the genetic profile. So this whole concept that we are born the way we are born and that's it, that mentality has been completely admonished from the medical community now. We know that the emotional capacity and the awareness of the mind and heart resonance can completely shift you genetically, let alone putting you in the practice of every day operating with the sense that you're going to accomplish what you're going to accomplish. It's an actual phenomenon. And if you can receive that information and operate with that technology, you become limitless. And if your intention is that the world sucks, my life sucks, everything's terrible, guess what? You're going to attract that. That's the common part of the law of attraction. So we have to understand what the law of attraction has been trying to tell us. Yes. And then what we do is we take it further to understand the science behind it. And then we can start getting into the disciplinary practices, because all of this is encompassing. You asked me, what's the most important thing? How do we not force? How do we flow? Well, the fundamental things need to be there. We need to be drinking clean water. We need to be grounded to the earth. We need to make sure the main people in our circle, our sphere of influence, are supporting us, and we need to make sure that we are supporting them. So it's not only who's doing what for me, it's what you're doing for others out of good faith. It's not this, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. That's the old paradigm. We're all waiting for a handout. We're all waiting for someone to do something for us. But we got to take it now. We got to take ownership now. We can't let a medical establishment save us. We have to take authority of our health. We have to take control of our immune system. This is self-powerment. So I want to ask you now, brother.
Yes.
In your life, what examples can you give me as a world phenom, #1 tennis player in the world, which is the craziest thing of all time, and such a humble, beautiful soul that's so connected to spirit? How did you become who you are today? I want people to feel into that. And once you give that answer, then I can feed into that and create an alchemy. And this, let me just say this. Our intention, I'll say it again, me and Novak's intention is for you to receive this love and truth and go deep into yourself. That's what this self-mastery project is all about. It's not about the keys to success. It's not about being better than the next person. It's about self-discovery of yourself on the deepest, deepest level. So I turn it over to you.
Beautifully said, brother, and thanks for the question. Well, I think most of the people that follow me, follow my tennis career, have heard the story of my upbringing. You know, the childhood days when I was 5 years old, when I started to play tennis. It was kind of a sign of a destiny in a way, because I do come from a family of parents that are athletes, a family of sports people. My dad was a competitor in skiing. We grew up on the mountain. He was a skiing instructor. They started a business. I was there, and 3 tennis courts were built in front of that restaurant. So you know, I've never heard of tennis before. My family, no one has touched the racket in our family before. So wow. It was definitely some higher power involved into me getting to know and getting introduced to the sport. So I was helping the workers in construction of the court. In return, they gave me the permission to play, to be the first one to play on those courts. And I instantly fell in love with it. And I knew in that moment, even though it would be hard to say that I knew right then that's what I would do in my life, because as a 5-year-old, I just wanted to enjoy. I just wanted to be present. I just wanted to marvel on the wonderful experience of being on the tennis court. So for me, it was about the game. It was about something that I truly and genuinely enjoyed to do. And I had huge, you know, luck that I had a big support from my parents that allowed me to play tennis. In times of 90s, which in Serbia were difficult, beginning of 90s, we had one war. Late 90s, we had a second war. In between, we had sanctions, embargo. No one could get in and out from the country, waiting in line for bread and milk. All these different things, right? But they shape you, they strengthen your character. And we go back to what we are talking about today. They strengthen your intention, your dream. When I was 7, that was the first time that I knew clearly, and I had the thought and a dream and intention of becoming the world's best tennis player one day. And I was also very fortunate, I must say, in life to come across certain people that were very knowledgeable about tennis, about sport, that worked hand in hand with my parents, that helped my parents understand what I was doing when I was not with them. And my parents helped the tennis coaches, in particularly 2 of them. One was Jelena Gencic. She's not with us anymore, but she's my tennis mother, as I like to call her, and Niki Pilic, who is my tennis father. So those people worked very closely with my parents, and they were my family. So after the tennis practices, I was an 8-9-year-old kid that would go to my tennis mother's house and listen to classical music, read poetry, write diary, visualize myself playing on the Wimbledon center court and lifting a trophy, creating the Wimbledon trophy out of the improvised materials that I could find at home. So there was the huge effect or influence by the visualization, the image, or the
projection
of the
projection.
Exactly, projection, a little storyboard of exactly how things will happen for me in the future.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to have someone like my parents and particularly like Jelena Gencic that pointed out on the importance of this at a very early age for me. So for me, I understood what intention is, not mentally, but in my heart, I got it. And I knew that whatever I'm imagining, whatever I project, that it is going to happen. It is my reality. So I did not know for any other reality. Actually, everything that I was experiencing alongside millions of people in Serbia during 90s and those wars, I knew that nothing could really stop me. And I just knew that one day I'm going to become the best tennis player in the world. And of course, there was literally 0.2% of people in Serbia and around the world that actually believed that I could achieve that. Because,
so that's,
what are the odds?
That's the biology of belief. And
exactly.
I don't see it being fortunate. I just see that that's just the letter of the law. You know, it's like, we have to start believing in this. You know, you probably wouldn't have met your mentors if you didn't have that in you. It's not random that you were able to connect with people that can put you on the path like that if they didn't see it in you. You were attracted to them.
I agree with that. I'm sorry to interrupt, brother, but this is something that is very important because when I speak with people, and there's, I must say, a majority of the people that I get to share with my own experience, and a lot of them say, well, you know, not that are close to me, the people that I just met and that I share with, and they say, well, you know, it's easy for you because you are born to be the #1 player of the world. You have the talent. You have you have the God's help. You have the gift. You know, I'm not saying I don't have a talent. I have been gifted and I have been blessed. Absolutely, without a doubt. I have full gratitude and faith in God that God actually, you know, granted me with this amazing opportunity in life, for sure. But I do believe that all of us have this power inside of ourselves to create the reality that we want to be in, our most ideal. And nothing is impossible. Honestly, sorry to interrupt, but that's something I wanted to say because I feel it's very important for anybody that is watching to understand that everyone has possibility and power, regardless of where you are, regardless of what is going on. Everyone has the power to change the world, change themselves, and make a huge impact. I would just, before I give you the word, would like to tell a story about someone that I know, and that has been one of the biggest inspirations in the last 10 years for me. His name is Nik Vujicic, and he was born with no limbs, no upper and lower extremities, so no arms, no legs at all. He has attempted to suicide. He has attempted a suicide for many times. And now he has become one of the biggest inspirational talkers around the world. He spoke in front of hundreds of thousands of people around the world. In one moment, 100,000 people in India. Check him out, Nik Vujicic. His story is incredible. He is the real example of what we are talking about here. He was someone that you know, could easily said, look, I was born this way. And, you know, he did go through this transformation in his life. So when you hear him speak, tears come, and, you know, you just feel so much love and so much gratitude for everything that you have, that you are, for your arms, that you're able to grab things, you're able to run, to walk, the most fundamental things in life he did not have. And then yet he managed to transform all of that into something beautiful. So I do believe that whatever happens in your life, whoever you are, wherever you are, you can make a change. Please go ahead, brother.
No, there's no going ahead. It's together. And that was so beautiful. I mean, gratitude is the most powerful creative force by far, hands down, in the universe. Without that gratitude, you kind of have a dissolved intention. So I think that was a perfect organic experience that you just set forth right now. And to piggyback or to parlay back into your experience of the gnosis of self, where, you know, depending on how your life works, depending on people saying it's genetics or it's only you were born with it, again, to go into the science of it, we're all born with specific talents and specific genes. And it's based on your environment, your emotional capacity, on whether those genes are expressed or not expressed. And they could be good genes, and they could be negative genes. They could be genes that develop more synaptic energy between brain cells for more motor function. It could be genes that produce more fast twitch muscle fiber, okay? It could be genes that produce more cancer cells and leaky gut and dysbiosis. All of us have genetic markers that are activated or deactivated depending on our environment. Our environment is so important. And the environments, I'm not just talking about the tree outside. I'm talking about our emotional capacity around us. That is epigenetics. So everything you just said, your life is a perfect dish to look at. It's a perfect highlight to look at someone who is able to exercise the proper genetic switches, the proper epigenetic movements. And that is what alchemy is all about. So we talk about the word alchemy. It's used all across the world. It's now become such a cliche term, alchemy, the alchemist. You know, Paul Coelho's book. This is the life of the alchemist, where we're actually changing the chemical experience of the human body through an outside force of an electromagnetism. These two things go hand in hand. And I think on maybe our next conversation, we get into the laws of resonance and electromagnetism and the governance of our world. And that can surge these two together, where then we can offshoot into other topics. Absolutely. And brother, gratitude is what places us into the perspective of not looking at our lives as misfortune and our lives as, you know, where everyone is against us or we are down on our luck. Victim mentality, scarcity mentality, poverty conscious, which I'm in the process of writing a book about. I think these energies are handcuffing us from the jump start and keeping us limited and down. And when you're in that emotional world, that type of energy, you don't have a choice but to reach for things that are toxic. You don't have a choice to get addicted to, you know, different forms of compulsory things that are bringing you down. Why? Because your mind, body, and heart is looking to escape. That's the true form of escapism. Yes. We don't want to escape anymore. We're here now. We're alive in these bodies. We're connected to so many beautiful souls. We don't want 50 years to go by and we're regretting our perspective on life. Remember, our perception is our reality. Our perspective gives us the lens on what we see. And so that's the intention that I hold every day. My intention is to be the best version of myself every single day. And that's not pressure anymore because it's become ritual.
So let's go into this intention, brother, because I've heard very wise man said, discipline is fusion between intention and action.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
how does discipline surface out of intention? How can we actually find the discipline to respect and follow a certain routine or certain whatever it is, tutorial or journey that is set by our intention to get to where we want to be? How do we discipline ourselves?
Okay, so I think number one, it's process of elimination first. So instead of these lofty expectations and trying to well craft these amazing things, we have to first see what's distracting us, right? So intention is more than just wishful thinking. It's willful direction. What does that mean? That means unobstructed. It's a philosophy that puts our heart into a practice. Yes. Consistently and conscious emotional patterns, energy, thoughts, frustration, experience. If we start looking at our thoughts and set the intention that we're going to monitor our thoughts, we can start creating more passion in our lives. We can start getting more clarity in our lives. And then we start operating more in an authentic reality. But it takes a little bit of work of looking at yourself in the mirror, what we talked about on the first live. We got to look ourselves in the mirror and we got to be honest with ourselves. We can't lie to ourselves anymore. We talk about don't lie to people because you're going to create bad karmas and things are going to come back to you. Well, what if you've been lying to yourself since you were 5 years old? And you know it deep down inside, but you've become so good at it that instead of going in pain because you're doing it, your body has shut that emotion off. We're lying to ourselves so much that the clarity is completely gone. And it's impossible to get into intention. So I think that's the center point of getting into your intention, is to become completely raw about who you are and why you are, and the energies that you hold in your perspectives, in your opinions of others, in your family life, friendships, how you are serving. That's the first place before we can start getting into what we want to be in this life. It's how did we get to who we are today?
Basically, it's a discernment or knowledge or awareness of self, of understanding, first of all, who you are, why are you here? What is your role here? To really understand yourself, your body, how everything works, why everything is connected. I truly believe, and I know you do too, brother, in holistic approach to life. Holistic means that if you set something in motion, everything else is affected in the ecosystem, not just in your own body, in your own world or ecosystem of your body, mind, and soul, but all the people around you, all your community, everything is affected. If you wake up one day and you go out from your home and you greet your neighbor with a smile and say, hello, good morning, how are you? Nice to see you. I wish you a wonderful day. Or you do the opposite of that. Of course, it does affect the energy created between you and your neighbor, and your neighbor is going to go on with that thought an entire day. Someone
the ripple effect,
positive or negative
the ripple
way, and then it's a ripple effect, of course, affects other people in line. So we the intention is very clear in my profession, in my life, in my world. It has been of an utmost importance to understand clearly who I am, first of all, and what I am doing. Is that, as a result of what I'm doing, is it affecting positively my community, the micro world around me, and the macro world of people that follow me, that know me, and that believe in me. So how does what I am representing, what I'm talking, how I'm behaving, and what I'm doing in life affect the universe and the planet and the people as a whole? So I try to be very conscious of that every single day, because I truly believe that I believe in God. I believe in angels. I believe in universe. I believe in higher powers that are helping you in moments when you need it the most. And don't underestimate that, because only because you don't see it doesn't mean it does not exist. So I believe that if the intention is right, and if there is a noble cause of what you're doing, and for me, tennis has not always been like that, but right now it is a place where I grow and learn and try to perfect myself into the best version of a human being that I am. Because we talked about it, in the tennis court, I have so many suppressed programs and emotions surfacing that I obviously need to work on. I see it as a place which allows me to thrive personally, but it allows me as well to share the passion, the love, the joy, and the dream that has been there with me since I was 5 years old, and to share the positive energy with everyone around the world where I'm playing. But it also is important that I understand, and I started thinking about this and probably making it more conscious in my mind about maybe 5-6 years ago, is that who I am in a process of hello.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, something is blocked. Sorry, I can hear you, but I cannot see you. Do you see me?
I see you perfectly.
Something stopped on my screen. I don't know what is going on. So let me go out and go back in, if you don't mind.
Of course not. I don't mind.
Okay,
But
sorry everyone. I just completely
save
blocked.
this live. Make sure you post this live for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me see. Hold on. Before you log out.
I'm trying. 1 second. I'm trying to unblock it. I don't know what is going on.
There it is.
I just